Hi, third graders. We are back to do week 8 of our remote learning packet, and I do want to say that I love when I get to hear from you guys throughout the week. So please do keep that up, and I miss you all terribly. But let's get to our work. This is the week 8 learning packet. It goes from May 11th through May 15th. If you can believe it, we have goals on the top, tools on the bottom, just like usual. We will look at page 1 of our math packet, and this says find the missing place value from a 3-digit number. So it looks like it might be kind of tricky. It's got some missing numbers, but really, if we look closely at it, this is just expanded form. Okay, so remember when we took a 3-digit number and we blew it up, we expanded it into just its place value. We've also done it with number bonds. So right here, if the number is 637, we know that has 6 hundreds, which looks like the number 600, 3 tens, which looks like the number 30, and 7 units. So I can see right here that the missing part of that expanded notation is the number 7. Because 600 plus 30 plus 7 is going to equal 637. So I know I kind of went over here to number 2. We can look at number 1 too. It's 191. So I can think right now it's going to be 100, 9 tens, 90, and 1 unit, 1. 100, 90, and 1. So I'm going to look at what they have. They've given me the 1. They've given me the 100. The 90 is missing. The 9 tens here to make that number. So you're going to use your knowledge of expanded notation, of place value, and fill in those missing numbers. Page 2, multiplication and division, fact families with fact family houses. We have done this a bunch in our room, so you guys are going to be pros at this. Remember that multiplication is doing something, taking an equal group and doing it a certain number of times. Division is taking a whole number and splitting it into equal groups. So that's why those are opposite forms. Some weather. When we are set up here in our triangles, the smaller numbers are what can be multiplied to make the larger number. So in this first family, 8 times 2 is going to be 16. And of course, if it goes one way, 8 times 2 equals 16, we can reverse those multipliers, the multiplier and the multiplicand there, and make it 2 times 8 equals 16. When we go to divide, obviously we have to start with the largest number, which is 16. What if I shared it with 8 friends? How many would everybody get? What if I shared it with 2? So just filling these out into our multiplication and division fact families. ELA assignment for your practice for this week. As always, read the passage, answer the questions. The title is In Danger of Extinction. So right away that activates some of my prior knowledge, things that I already know about. I will read the questions out loud for you so you can have those in your mind while you read. If you would like to read to me or Miss Nancy, I know that she would love it. I would love it. Do send a message in Schoology and we will definitely hear you read. Just to review the questions, number 1. What does it mean when an animal is extinct? Now, I already have an idea about that. You probably have an idea about that. What does that mean already? Because we've talked about it. But it doesn't want just our ideas, it wants evidence from the passage. So do make sure that you read and see how do they talk about that in the passage. Question 2. Imagine if you were like a koala and ate only one kind of food. what kind of food would it be? Now, this imagination question is definitely asking for your opinion. Now, you got to relate it to information from the passage, which is this information about a koala, but they are asking for your ideas and your imagination, your opinion for number 2. Number 3, what is another name for many gum trees? And so you're going to have to look into the passage to find that information. We'll say a whole sentence, something like another name for many gum trees is, and fill that in with your information. Number 4, why do you think the koala is so picky? Now, it does say, why do you think? But please make sure that you are relating that to reading the story. Read that passage 2 or 3 times and make sure that your opinion about why do you think the koala is so picky relates back in some way with some evidence from the story, at least support your ideas. On the back of that page is starts with question number 5 for our story. What would you tell people to get them to stop cutting down the brushland where koalas live? So again, please make sure you're returning to the passage. I would tell people this evidence from my reading that supports this opinion to have them stop cutting down the brushland where koalas live. Okay, so again, this is not you gonna say, I tell them to stop because I don't like it. No, we're 3rd graders. We are gonna support our ideas with what we have been reading. So make sure you're going back for that evidence. When you're finished, you can ask yourself, how did you do on this assignment? I hope you guys are giving yourselves all thumbs up by now, because hopefully you are writing full complete sentences. Hopefully it's always ideas that you got from your reading. But if not, you might be feeling like, oh, I just gave it an okay effort this time, or I'm still really not doing very well. Please reach out if you are not feeling really good about these passages. After that, you have your fine arts direction here, and it says to go ahead and do the sketchbook page that comes up next. So here is, this is a continuation of your color study from last week. Again, a little hard to read, but I think you can work it out. It talks about complementary pairs, complementary colors. And so the complementary colors are colors that are across from each other on the color wheel. Complementary colors are more like opposite colors. They provide the greatest color contrast. When mixed together, a complementary pair would make a neutral color. That means it's kind of brownish. This is a simplified color wheel to show you some of the pairs. The intermediate colors can also be complements. So it's whatever's straight across on the color wheel, so you can look at the one you made last week to kind of help guide you here. But here it shows it spells out some of the pairs are red and green. Red, so across from it is going to be green, orange and blue, and violet and yellow. So you're kind of making a simplified color wheel. And then decorate the fish with complementary color pairs. So you don't want to put all the colors on one fish. You want to choose, it's going to be my violet and yellow fish. This is going to be my red and green fish. And see how those complementary colors work together. At the bottom of this page, there are some music directions. It says you are going to practice some rhythms at home and make up words to go with these rhythm patterns. And then there are some pages of rhythm patterns for you to practice. Please do that. I would not mind at all to hear some of your rhythm practice that you are doing. The very last page of the 3rd grade packet has has a special page here. Okay, so this is after music, the special page here. And it says, are you reading other texts at home? And I certainly hope so. I hope you are reading chapter books and magazines and graphic novels and the back of your cereal box. I hope you're reading everything you can get a hold of But here are some like kind of thinking stems, some thinking questions to go along with some of this other stuff you're reading. And it just gives you some ideas to think about. So this, like the first one says, in passage one, character's name suggests blah. How does this decision affect the rest of the story? We can see that kind of could go with almost anything at all. Anything that had a story to it, you could ask yourself about any decision that any character made and think, well, how did that change the rest of the story? What if they made a different decision? You could make up in your mind a totally different way that that story could go. And so, why was it so important for that, for the author to write the story that way with that one character decision? So, it's just blanks and it doesn't go with any specific story. This is for you to fill in as you read some stems, some sentence, some questions to talk about with your family. If you're ever talking about your reading with your family, here are some interesting ways to bring up points and think about the deeper meaning that's coming through your reading. So it's kind of like a bonus page here for third graders and third graders only. The other grades did not get this, and it goes all the way on to the back of this page. And so I hope that you at least look through that and use that maybe as a guide when you're reading. And I know I said that you guys could message me or Miss Nancy to if you want us to listen to your reading or help you out with that reading passage at all. But if you want to talk about any of those sentence stems or interesting ways to think about the characters, or just tell us about what you're reading at home, we love to hear it. So I hope you guys are staying safe, and I miss you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.